Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about a second year player that is surprising a lot of people, along with a UDFA that is absolutely balling out. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff, it's free, takes 1 second. So let's talk about first Tyler Owens, second year player, also a UDFA from last year, who was able to make the 53-man roster. First 53, which that is very hard to do. Usually it's one or less UDFA. So he had a good, decent day, but that's not even the surprising part. The surprising part is that he was with the ones. And for a guy that, I'll get into his stats here in a second. Let me go ahead and look at Tyler Owens, because Tyler Owens, was a special teams guy last year for the Commanders. He was a special teams guy. That's what he was. He did get in, he did make some big time tackles for the Commanders on special teams, and he made 11 tackles. But let's see, how many snaps he played defensively. And he did, and one thing to keep, he played 0 snaps defensively. So for him to get run with the ones on day 1 of training camp, that is not insignificant. Does it mean he is going to be a starter or, be the third, safety in that room? No, it doesn't mean that. But, it probably means they're trying him out there. And if they're trying him out with the ones, they at least see some potential there for him to, be a starting safety or be the third safety behind Quan Martin and Will Harris, and then it would be Tyler Owens. So, definitely something that I think is somewhat of a deal. And, Tyler Owens, super athletic, and for, 11 tackles in 12 games on special teams, like that's impressive. And, he's a bigger guy, 216 pounds, 6'2", 213 pounds, and his vertical leap, 41 inches, which is insane. I mean, that's crazy. He did get beat by Deebo Samuel today, but what I will say, and this clip is a dime from Jaden Daniels to Deebo Samuel, the fact that he's on Deebo Samuel to begin with shows how, much they believe in him, because they have very, very capable corners on this team. I mean, let's just talk about it. You have Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Sainristil. You have Trey Amos, who we hope is a really good corner in this league. Jonathan Jones, Noah Igbenogany. Those are good players, and especially depth-wise. I mean, Noah Igbenogany and Jonathan Jones are great pieces to have as depth. So the fact that they had Tyler Owens on Deebo shows that they believe in him, at least to a certain extent, and see the potential that he has. So here's the clip. Sorry, I'm talking too much, I know. So Deebo beats him, but it's not terrible coverage. I mean, you look at it and he's there. Is he exactly where he needs to be? No, but it isn't terrible coverage whatsoever. It isn't terrible coverage, at all. Could have been better. Of course, you can always be better, but this was not bad coverage by him. But I know some people are going to see it and be like, or see just like the tweets and stuff and be like, oh, he got cooked. Tyler Owens got cooked. He sucks. But, he got beat. But it was just it was good defense, much better, or not much better. It was good defense, just better offense by both Jaden Daniels and Deebo Samuel. So that's kind of my thoughts on Tyler Owens, and I'll give a little bit more before we get into Jakory Brooks. But Tyler Owens, he right now you have Will Harris and Quan Martin. That's likely your starting duo, with Quan Martin playing free safety and Will Harris playing strong safety is my guess. But they can always switch around. But that is my guess with the current situation here. Will Harris is a big hitter for sure. Has played some free safety, but for 2 years. But strong safety for 2 years as well. Cornerback a little bit as well. So he's played all over. But he's a big hitter. They can play him at strong safety, And, then you got Quan Martin at free safety. And, that's how, they would have the, rotation. And then Tyler Owens as a third guy. Do they, if they want a Buffalo nickel, or if Mikey Sanders still needs a break or something like that, or, someone gets hurt, they can rotate him around, and it's just good depth to have. And who knows, if he really balls out, maybe you have him as your strong safety over, Will Harris. He can play probably both safety positions, but that strong safety position is a little bit more open, and you could possibly have Tyler Owens there if he really balls out this summer. It looks like he has, if he's getting reps with the ones, but let's continue to see it, these next weeks or so. And, maybe tomorrow he's not even with the ones, maybe he's with the threes, but just, something I want to talk about. And didn't mention this before, recording this video after the first day of training camp, and I'll post it tomorrow because going to work, so want to have a video out there. But yeah, that's the Tyler Owens talk. Now let's get into Jakory Brooks, who probably was the star of the day, so was getting run with the ones, which is not insignificant, but also makes sense with Terry being out is one thing, and then they just don't have like a lot of depth. And also Noah Brown, I think, was doing a little bit of a ramp up, so I don't think he fully practiced. I don't think he got work with the 11, doing the 11v11s and the 7v7s. Maybe he did, but that's definitely, if Noah Brown is out and then Terry's out, that's two of your top three targets being out. And, you have to find some other targets. And, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, Debo, obviously. And then after that, you start going down the list. KJ Osborne, Jakory Brooks. There's, Jacoby Jones from UCF. Like, you have some other options there to put out there. And it looks like Jakory Brooks, he was the one who stepped up today out of all the receivers, him and Debo Samuel. So he got Lattimore on the grass. I don't know if Lattimore just slipped or he slipped, but he slipped because of Jakory Brooks. But Jakory Brooks cooked and got a touchdown there. And then, Zach Selby said that he had 2 touchdowns during 7-on-7, one from Daniels and another from Mariota. So working with the ones, working with the twos, and, that makes sense, trying to find their guy who's going to step up at that, one of those receiver positions with, even if Terry comes back, you're still going to want some other receivers in that room. And you're going to just throw up shots. So Jakory Brooks, maybe it's him. Maybe it's Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, KJ Osborne, Jacoby Jones. There's probably one other UDFA I'm forgetting right now. But you just want to see who has it and who has a chance to contribute on game days, who can, block, who can play special teams. So Jakory Brooks had really good production in college, especially at Louisville this past year. I believe he had 1K yards. So I think it was a good pickup. Obviously, now it looks even better with, his play in training camp. My guess at this point, if I had a bet on it, it's so early and maybe I'm, got recency bias, but I would guess he makes a team. And definitely out of all the, undrafted free agents, he has the best chance to make the team. Probably put at like 55, 60%. But considering, the receiver situation with the Commanders right now, after Terry, Debo, and Noah Brown, like, it's not super pretty. So he has a chance to make the team. Like, Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey are pretty safe because of their draft status. So that gives you 5. So they'll probably keep 6, maybe 7. But, like, usually it's 6, especially with the receiving core like this one. So Jakory Brooks is fighting for one of those last spots. And I don't know if they want to give it to him just because you got those 3 receivers who, Terry, Debo, and Noah Brown. But then after that, you don't have any veterans if you kept Jakory Brooks as the 6th receiver. So they might want to keep a KJ Osborne or Chris Moore, who is a little bit of a veteran. Forgot to mention him. And they also signed Tay Martin, I believe. Big play Tay. That's what Ed was talking about on his channel. Great videos by Ed, of course, as usual. But they have receiver options, but Jakory Brooks has got to be at the top of the list of the next guys. in terms of the tier list of the receivers, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do. And some of these other guys too. I want to start hearing, Luke McCaffrey's name, Jalen Lane's name, and continue to see these guys ball out. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hail to Commanders. Peace.